This is Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 9. The thing that have been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. Kahalo Yahweh Bahashem, Hamashiach wa Malak Yahweh for giving me the spirit and power to do this lesson. All right, what we're going to touch on today, we're going to deal with the judgment that comes from, if you just seen the lesson I did over Ezekiel chapter 8, how I was linking it with the internet and with the things that we see with our people on the internet. Today, the 8th and the 9th chapter, they both go together. So the 9th chapter is the slaughter of the idolaters, what's going to happen to the ones that perform those acts in Ezekiel chapter 8 and in 2023, right, which is the same people, the Israelites. Right, so this is the slaughter of the idolaters. All right, so let's get it. So this is Ezekiel chapter 9 and verse 1. It says, he cried also in mine ears with a loud voice, saying, cause them that have charge over you, charge over the city to draw near, even every man with his destroying weapon in his hand. All right, so when we read this, just because it says man, when we go into, when you go deeper into this, the story and what happened, this is the Most High God talking to his angels, right? Talking to his sons, right? They'll be known as men too, right? To the Most High God. Right, just like we're known as men, right? Just like we're known as the sons of God, the angels are known as the sons of God, right? So keep that in mind. But before we continue, I want to get these two precepts. 1 second. I want to get these two precepts to show you that the angels do not rebel on the left-hand side and on the right-hand side. So I'm going to read it again. He cried also in mine ears with a loud voice, saying, cause them that have charge over the city to draw near. Men don't have charge over the city. Most importantly, we know the Most High God, he orders men's steps. He controls everything. And he do this by way of his angels. So these are the angels have charge over the city. This is who he's talking to, right? When we look in 2023, all these deaths, these derailing trains, all of the bus wrecks that's killing 22 people at a time. You got the earthquake that happened that killed over 20,000. I think it's like 30,000 now. All right, the floods, the tsunamis, the tornadoes, everybody that dies in these events, right? Like I just seen an article yesterday, and an old man and a wife. Well, I guess it was his wife, but the old man got slaughtered by the dogs. Some dogs got loose and they slaughtered the old man, right? That's not so common nowadays. I mean, it is common now, but it wasn't common, a couple of years ago. But we see more animal attacks and animals are slaughtered. They're not just biting these people; they're killing them, right? It killed the old man and his woman, right? So this is what the angels have charge over. These are the things that they are making sure that's happening, right? And I got a precept for that, but this is 2nd Ezra chapter 8 and verse 21, and it says, whose throne is inestimable, whose glory may not be comprehended, before whom the host of angels stand with trembling. So when I go to the word trembling, Salakia. On the screen. When we look at the word tremble, oops. The word tremble. When we deal with the word tremble, it means to shake involuntarily, like your skin, your body is just shaking, right? As with fear or cold. When you cold and your lips just shaking and your arms just shaking and you can't stop it no matter what. You try to act like everything is normal and you really don't feel that cold air because you think that's going to work. But guess what? Your skin keeps shaking. This is the same way with tremble, right? Shiver, to move, sound, pass, or come to pass, right? To be affected with a great fear or anxiety, right? So when it says that before whom the host of angels stand with trembling. So when they appear before the Most High God, they stand with this kind of fear, right? Shaking as with fear or cold, right? So they're going to obey every last word the Most High gives them, right? Ain't no Satan rebelled and he took a minion. He took his little demonic minion angels with him. That's Greek mythology. That's what the Greeks want you to think. Right, because the Greeks are into stuff like that. Like we was going over at camp yesterday. The Greeks, they was into the word chaos, right? Chaos means basically do whatever you want, no matter what, the consequences. That's what the Greeks were into, chaos. And when you go into Greek mythology, that's what it's about, right? You got Hades and his son, all the sons of Zeus end up killing Zeus so that one of them can reign. Like if you watch the movie not Immortal, The Wrath of the Titans. I believe it's the first one or the second one, but they was trying to kill their father so that they can start ruling. That's Greek mythology. That's chaos. That's that bullshit that they want you to believe that be going on in the heavens. Like Satan rebelled and he fell from heaven and he took a whole bunch of demonic angels with him. An angel that got strength, an angel that can play the music, an angel that can do this. He got all these different angels with him, and that's not what happened, man. That is not what happened at all. So when we go, I got one more precept for that, and then we can keep going in the story. So this is James chapter 2 and verse 19. So James 2 and 19, it says, "Thou believest that there is one God, thou doest well. The devils also believe and tremble." Right? The devils also believe and tremble. Like when Yahushua, let me get this. Right? Let's get an example of that. Right? Luke chapter 4. Let's get the whole chapter. All right, so lock you. All right, so when we read Luke chapter 4 and we drop down to let's start right here. It says, all right, let's start right here. Let's just get the point. So Luke 4 and 33, it says, in the synagogue there was a man which had a spirit of an unclean devil, right? Like what we just read in James chapter 2 and 19. It says that the devils also believe and tremble. Like it said about in 2nd Ezra chapter 8 and 21, they're both saying that the devils fear and tremble, the angels fear and tremble, right? On the left-hand side and on the right-hand side. Even Hashatan trembles at the Most High God's presence. He's going to do exactly what the Most High told him to. You can figure that out in the book of Job. The first 2 chapters, you will see Satan did not do nothing unless he asked permission first, right? So let's read this again. It says, "And in the synagogue there was a man which had a spirit of an unclean devil, and cried out with a loud voice, saying, Let us alone. What have we to do with thee, thou Yahushua of Nazareth? Art thou come to destroy us? I know thee, who thou art, the Holy One of God. And Yahushua rebuked him, saying, Hold thy peace, and come out of him. And when the devil had thrown him in the midst, he came out of him and hurt him not." So he did what he was commanded to do. That devil came out of this man, right? Like Yahushua commanded him to. Yahushua commanded him to. He said, "Me and my Father are one." And he told this devil to come out of him. And guess what? That devil obeyed. That devil didn't like, nah, I like this vessel. This vessel is cool. It fits me perfectly. I've been in her for a while. You can't tell me what to do anyway, right? I follow Satan. I don't follow you. Nah, he did exactly what Yahushua told him to do, right? And it said he hurted the man not when he came out. It says, "And there were all amazed and spake among themselves, saying, What a word is this? For with authority and power he commanded the unclean spirits, and they came out." See, Yahushua got the authority and power. He says, "All authority was given to me from the heavens, from Yahweh," right? But they are one, right? Not Trinity one, but they are one, right? So reading this again, "For with authority and power he commanded the unclean spirits, and they came out." So the reason I'm getting all of this, because when we go back to Ezekiel chapter 9 and 1, these are angelic beings. These are angels that's coming with their that's drawing near with their destroying weapons in their hand, right? That have charge over the cities, right? These angels are going to make sure, like just like in 2023, right? If we make it through the year or if we don't, the angels are going to make sure prophecy come to pass, and the angels are going to make sure when the destruction come that it's a horrible destruction, right? There's angels watching every single last one of us, right? And if you are part of the 2/3, an angel on the left-hand side is going to jump on you, and you're going to do it on, you're going to do some left-hand side stuff. Or the angels can be on your right-hand side. They, on the right-hand side, come to you and sup with you and deal with you and make sure that you don't nothing happens to you. That's all according to the will of the Most High God. That's why we say, if it be the Lord's will, we make it. Right? So, Ezekiel chapter 9. Matter of fact, I can just pull it up. Since I was reading it from my Bible, but I guess I can just pull it up. So it says, we have verse, I'm going to just read through 1 and 2. He cried also in my ears with a loud voice, saying, cause them that have charge over the city to draw near, even every man with his destroying weapon in his hand. These are angelic beings. And behold, 6 men came from the way of the higher gate, which lieth towards the north. Right. And if you look at the last video I did, the images that I pulled up, you will be able to see where the north is and where the angels came from. Right. These 6 angels. It says, and every man a slaughter weapon in his hand. And the one man among them was clothed with linen. Right. This is the same linen that the priest of the Lord was commanded to wear. Right. To dress like. He was dressed like a priest, man. But it says, with a writer's inkhorn by his side. Right. And the reason why he was clothed with linen is symbolic for today. It's symbolic for, the priest of the Lord after the order of Melchizedek. Right. Which made us all teachers. Right. And we are all teachers. We go out and we teach, man. Right. So this is symbolic for, the priest. Right. And it says with the writer's inkhorn by his side. And that's what we go out there and do. It's not us that's actually putting the inkhorn on their head, writing on their, their heart, which is their mind. One thing we're doing is we're waking them up to the knowledge of the truth, if that's who the Lord wants. That's why we try to stop, as many people as possible, because we know the Lord's elect is out there somewhere. So this is the process of that, right? A man clothed with linen as a priest with the writer's inkhorn on his side. And that's, the word, right? It's either the word is going to write it on it, spiritually. The Lord is going to write it on their forehead. They're going to wake up to the knowledge of the truth, or they're not. And we see brothers waking up every day, right? It says, and they went in and stood beside the brazen altar, right? And the altar goes, to the sacrifices. That's what you use for, right? So Lord willing is making sense, right? And I'm talking about this happened this is the vision that he's seen, but this is what we're coming into again, right? This is what we're dealing with, the slaughter of the idolaters, right? Hopeful 2/3 behavior, right? That we see on a daily basis, whether it's on a higher level or it's on a lower level, right? The higher level is them niggas selling out and doing all these rituals behind closed doors. And the lower level is the people that's among us we still see indulging wickedness, like gangbanging, selling drugs to their people and so forth. Higher level or lower level, you're going to get punished the same, man. So it says, and the glory of the God of Israel was gone up from the cherub, whereupon he was to the threshold of the house. And he called to the man clothed with linen, which had the writer's inkhorn by his side. So like it says, and the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of them that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. Now, this is one of the biggest parts in this chapter is verse 4. Why? Because it's talking about setting a mark upon men's foreheads. It didn't say women or children. It said men's foreheads, because the man is the head of the household. The man is going to determine whether, the house gets destroyed or not. And that's just what it is. That's just what it is. That's why when we about to read, it's going to say slay little children and women, right? That indulged in wickedness with their husband, right? So it says, I'm going to read again. And the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, right? And remember, we are a people before we are a place. That's why when I bring this out, I'm trying to link it up to 2023 if we make it through this year, right? Because we are people before a place. This same process is going to happen where the death angels are going to come, and they're going to come and do a massive slaughtering on the 2/3 of our people, Zechariah 13:8, right? And then you got this man with this writer's inkhorn also, right? that's going to put a mark upon the foreheads of them that sigh and cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. These are all the people that hate being here, right? They hate what's going on. They hate what they see, right? All of this wickedness that's going on, if it should vex you. And if it doesn't, you don't have that mark on your forehead. I'm talking about you literally have to be tired of being here. I fucking hate this place, man. You should hate this place with a passion, man. Vehemently. That's what the scriptures say. All right, so let me get this, because this is an example of that right here. In fact, I can just pull it up right here. 2 Peter. This is 2 Peter chapter 2, and we're going to read we're going to start at 6, I believe. Yes, verse 6, because this is dealing with exactly what the Lord said are the only ones that's going to have the mark upon their foreheads that sigh and cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof, right? And then we're going to get a couple of abominations, right? So it says, in turning the city of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemn them with an overthrow, making them an ensample, which is example, same word, unto those that after should live ungodly. So anybody after, when the Lord destroys Sodom and Gomorrah, Sodom and Gomorrah is an example unto any kingdom that lived afterwards. This is this is probably worse than Sodom and Gomorrah. It is literally called Sodom and Gomorrah in Revelation, right? This place is called Sodom in Egypt. So this place has to be destroyed in the same way. Fire raining down from heaven, thermonuclear destruction, right? And the people that's going to get caught up, the ones that did not sigh and cry. It says, and deliver just Lot. Lot is symbolic. You know, we always got to look at the spiritual side of the lesson, you know, the scriptures too, not just the physical, right? That's why Peter is talking about what happened with Lot, because he's letting you know that this is going to happen again. And we have to be mindful of this. So when it says, and deliver just Lot, Lot is symbolic for the 1/3, right? Him and his household. And not everybody in your household going to make it, because Lot's wife didn't make it. But it says, and deliver just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. We know what vex means. You tired, you annoyed, you irritated. You hear conversations with people. You be in a store, you know, you just want to, you know, whether it's pay a bill, you want to buy groceries, you want to buy daily necessities, whatever it is, and you hear them talking about something so wicked, man. Something so you be at work, and it's just wickedness, man. Just nothing but wickedness. And they try to get you to, you know, they try to offer you and try to get you to indulge in it. And it's just annoying. And, you know, you can't really say too much. You know, there's a time and place for everything. But it says, and deliver just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked, especially the blasphemy against the Most High God, man. It says, for that righteous man, right, just like the 1/3, dwelling among them, just like the 1/3, and seeing and hearing, vexed his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds. And that's why the Lord gonna punish them, man, for their unlawful deeds. This is why you want the mark upon your forehead, right? But it's only gonna be the ones that sighing and crying for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. More importantly, the men that's out there on the highways and byways telling you to repent or die. Right. And then it says, the Lord knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptation and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment, to be punished. Right. So I said, according to Ezekiel chapter 9, I said I was going to get, I'm going to read Ezekiel 9:4 again, and then I'm going to get the abominations. It says, and the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. All right, so the first abomination I want to get, and I always get the same abominations, man, because these things run rampant around here, right, in the United States. And the first one is this, Deuteronomy 22:5, which is a law. It says, the woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment, for all that do so are an abomination unto the Lord thy God. This is one abomination that the men of God that goes out and sighs and cries about. All these women wearing pants and all these men wearing dresses, whether it's for money, entertainment purposes, fashion, whatever it's for. It's still an abomination, and the Lord hates abomination. That's Sirach. Let me get it. That's Sirach 15 and 13. It says, Sirach 15 and 13, the Lord hateth all abomination, and they that fear God love it not. So if you fear the Most High God, you're not going to love these abominations, right? And that's just one. Let's get another one. Let's go back, because this is another one our people just cannot let go. So this is Leviticus 11 and 7. It says, and the swan, though he divide the hoof and be cloven footed, yet he cheweth not the cud. He is unclean unto you. Salaki, that's not the one. Right here. Verse 9. These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters. Whatsoever have fins and scales in the waters, in the seas and in the rivers, them shall ye eat. And when you look at, the dietary of our people, when you look at how our people eat, what they call soul food is the worst food you can eat on this planet, man. Soul food. That's the worst place. Yeah, it's good, but it's the worst thing you can eat. That's why our people are always dying so young at 40 and 50 years old, is because they full of this soul food. And when we dealing with, even the seaside of our soul food, catfish is the number one pick, right? So it says, verse 10, and all that have not fins and scales in the seas and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters, and of anything that thing, and of any living thing which is in the waters, they shall be a what? An abomination unto you. It says, they shall be even an abomination unto you. Ye shall not eat of their flesh, but ye shall have their carcasses in abomination. Whatsoever have no fins nor scales in the waters, that shall be an abomination unto you. Right? And it goes on. All these things that he talks about, that's an abominations, our people are highly indulged in, man. So I got one more. So like, yeah, Leviticus 21. Okay. So let's get one more that our people highly indulge in, man. It might be 20 and 10. 1 second. All right, Con. So this is Leviticus 18 and 22. And it says, thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is an abomination. We know what this is, simply homosexuality, man on man. Right. And there was an article of a man, I believe he was in Tulsa, Oklahoma. His name was something Martin, I believe. But he was going around giving other men AIDS. Right. And he didn't tell his so-called lover that he had it. Right. So I believe since 2014, and he gave it to his lover. And his lover called the police on him, and he got took to jail for spreading AIDS, man. That is the judgment of the Lord. It tells you that in Romans chapter 1. Straight up, man. But they be so burning in their lust that they indulge in it, man. And it gets them all caught up. Right? So, let's go back to Ezekiel. So those are the abominations that be done in the midst thereof that our people love to indulge in back then and even today. Right? So Ezekiel 9 and 4, I'm going to run through it. And the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. So that's what I forgot to get right here. It's the word. Check this out. Let's see what mark means, because we have 3 different words for mark. You have mark in Ezekiel 9, what we reading. You have mark in Romans 16 and 17. And you have mark in Revelation chapter 13 and 16, right? One of them mean when you mark somebody, you pay close attention to. I think that's Scopio or Tav, I believe it is. And then you have this one in Ezekiel chapter 9. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm going to just go to it. But then you have Charagma, that's in Revelation. Okay. Okay, so this is Tav. So Scopio is in the one in Romans 16 and 17. And then you have Charagma that's in Revelation chapter 13 and 16, right? So when we go to this word, mark, set a mark, it means simply desire mark. Mark right here is the point as a sign of exemption from judgment, right? And this is what you want to be. You want to be exemption from judgment, man. That means nothing is going to happen to you. That means Psalms 91 belonged, like, it was written for you. Sirach chapter 2, it was written for you, right? The Most High delivering the remnant, all of those scriptures that make you feel good, man, that keeps you going, it was written for you, right? This is the kind of mark you want, though. It's a mark from exemption of judgment, right? Because these angels are going to go crazy pretty soon, man. And these are the same angels. These not the same angels, but it tells you the same thing in Revelation chapter 7 that's going to happen in the last days. That's why I use this chapter, right? The four angels that's standing on the four corners of the earth. But it says, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof, right? And to the others he said in mine hearing, kind of says, and to the others he said in mine hearing, go ye after him through the city and smite, let not your eye spare, neither have ye pity. So it was another point I wanted to make too. It was for verse 4, and this is Jeremiah 17 and 1. Because it goes into, like I said, Mark goes into you being exempt from judgment, right? So the 2/3, they're not going to be exempt from judgment. The judgment is actually for them, right? And this is Jeremiah 17 and 1. The sin of Judah is written with a pen of iron and with the point of a diamond. It is graven upon the table of their hearts. Your heart is your mind, and upon the horns of your altars. So your sins, the wicked 2/3, their sins are written on their hearts, which is their mind. So simply saying, when it's time for them to die, they're going to know why they're dying, right? Like I said at camp, who that thinks about what they did good when they're dying? Nobody thinks about that. They think about all the bad things they did. That's why they try to kiss their crust. That's why they try to, do things and say things, try to get the Most High's attention, so to speak, right? Like saying they sorry. What we call is deathbed repentance. That's what we call it. But oops. God, 1 second. All right, God. All right. So it says, Jeremiah 17 and 1, the sin of Judah is written with the pen of an iron and with the point of a diamond. It is graven upon the table of their hearts and upon the horns of your altars. You understand that? Your sins are being put on your mind, right? Your sins is put on your mind. You know when you sinning, you know when you messed up. That's why you got that guilty spirit within you, right? And that's what this is talking about, is Jeremiah 17 and 1, right? And look, it says right here, so right here it says, this is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4 and 19. For he shall rend them and cast them down headlong, that they shall be speechless, and he shall shake them from the foundation, and they shall be utterly laid waste and be in sorrow, and their memorial shall perish, right? It says, and when they cast up the accounts of their sins, that means when you start thinking about your sins, it says, they shall come with fear, right? This is when people get afraid. This is when people piss and shit on themselves. Right? People get so scared they piss and shit on themselves. You best believe that, man. When they see a silver chrome coming out that black hoodie, some dudes, they shit and they piss on themselves. Right? You see somebody running to the back of your house, right? You got 3 dudes running on the side of your house. They going to your back door, right? And you in a position to where you can't get to your weapon fast enough, bro. You're gonna shit and piss on yourself, for real. And some people, they shit and piss on themselves when they die. Right? Well, everyone. It says, and when they cast up the accounts of their sins, they shall come with fear, and their own iniquities, your own sins, shall convince them to their face. You're going to know why you're dying. Now, you ain't going to be able to just pick exactly which bad thing you done when you thinking about it, but you're going to know all of those things, and it's going to make you more afraid because you're going to know you did it willfully. You're going to know, right? You're going to know you did that willfully, man. You didn't even try to hearken to the Most High God, and that's how the 2/3 are going to be. It's going to be, their death is going to be so grievous because they're going to know that they haven't been doing right. They haven't been living according to the scriptures, right? And they're going to know that, the men out there that was sighing and crying and telling them to stop with the abominations, they going to know that they was right. And they was like, man, he was right in my face. The whole time I should have just listened, but it's too late, right? A lot of people are going to starve to death. A lot of people are going to, the sword. A lot of people is going to die in many different ways, right? But their sins are going to be convincing them to their face. Right, so this is 2nd Ezra. Let me get 2nd Ezra right quick. I had it in my 2nd Ezra chapter 8. Right, so so 2nd Ezra chapter 8, and I'm gonna start at 49. So 2nd Ezra chapter 8 and 49, he says, in that thou hast humbled thyself as it becometh thee. And he's talking to Ezra, right? Remember, Ezra was like a master complainer. He always complained about the nation of Israel, as in he always wanted them to be saved. He always cried and was like, why are you going to do this to our people? When are you going to save your people? When are you going to do this for Israel? He always worried about Israel, and the Most High got on his butt for it. But it says, and has not judged thyself worthy to be much glorified among the righteous, right? He came in humility. It says, for many great miseries, it says great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world. These are the angels that's ready. They are ready to do everything they're commanded to do, right? It says, because they have walked in great pride, and the Most High hates pride, according to Sirach chapter 10. And that's why you got to read these chapters so you can know these kind of things. It says, but understand thou for thyself, and seek out the glory for such as be like thee. And that's what we do. When we go out there to the highways and byways, we teach our people, and we seek out the ones that, that want something better in life, right? They want to seek the Most High God, right? They want to do right. They want change, right? Whatever the Lord sees in them that he can use, he's gonna bring them in, man. He's gonna bring them in, and he's doing it on a daily basis, right? But he also told Ezra, don't worry about the 2/3. They're gonna die, right? It's written, right? They are written in the earth. If you read, I'm gonna come back to this. If you read Jeremiah 17, right? So you got written in the book of life, and then you have written in the earth. When you're written in the earth, that means they are written to die, right? Where's that? Written in the earth, written in the earth. So I can, 1 second. All right, Con. So this is Jeremiah 17 and 13. O Lord, the hope of Israel, all that forsake thee shall be ashamed, and they that depart from me shall be written in the earth. We know there's nothing good coming out of someone who departs from the Most High God. Nothing good. So this written in the earth is talking about you being put to death, right? It says, because they have forsaken the Lord, the fountain of living waters. Right. So it's either you're written in the book of life or you're written in the earth. Right. And the 2/3 are written in the earth, and there's nothing you can do for them. Right. And Ezra is a perfect example, the book of 2nd Ezra. Right. He always tried to save and help, try to plea for the Israelites, and the Most High was like, bro, stop doing that. I'm killing these niggas, and that's what it is. All right. That's why he told him in chapter, that's why he told him in chapter 8 to seek out. He says, but understand thou for thyself and seek out the glory for such as be like thee. Right. And he says, great misery is coming to the ones who was, walked in great pride in these last days. So that's what these 6 angels are coming to do. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be more than just 6 in these last days. Right. In Revelation chapter 7, let me get that. It says that Revelation chapter 7, it says that there's 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, right? Let me get this. Right, so this is Revelation 7:1. And after these things, I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. This is not talk about no physical wind, because we feel wind. We've been feeling wind since the beginning of time. This wind is talking about a destroying wind. If you read Jeremiah chapter 51:1, I'm not going to go to it though. Jeremiah 51:1, it tells you that it's a destroying wind, right? So these angels right here, it's 4 angels. 4 angels about to run around personally killing these people. It's going to be spirits. It's energy that they're going to put on the people, right? These angels, and they're going to perform these acts through the masses of the people. Straight up, man. Everyone have their purpose. That's why you have scriptures like this. Precept upon precept, man. All right. All right, hold on. I can just... I don't know what that is. All right, got it. So like I said, these angels, whether it's in Ezekiel 9 or it's in Revelation 7, it's talking about them pouring out their force, their energy, right, on the masses of the people, and they are going to cause them to do all kind of different things, right? But I'm pretty sure that's even fun for the angels to do. I'm pretty sure that's fun for the angels to do. But it's Sirach 39:28. It says, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, right? Like you have the left-hand side angels, right? The angels that standing over the four corners of the earth. These are angels of vengeance, man. That's holding this wind, right? Or you have Ezekiel chapter 9. These angels are created for vengeance. And these angels are simply going to jump on people and cause them to do whatever they want them to do. No holding back. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on our sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease. The same word is please. So they please the wrath of him that made them, because that's what they was created to do. In the time of destruction, they're going to pour out their force, just like these 6 angels that's in Ezekiel chapter 9. In the days that we are in, these angels are going to pour out their force. They're going to jump on your neighbor. They're going to jump on your co-workers. They're going to jump on everyone, right? They're going to jump on everyone, right? And if you don't have that mark of exemption, you're going to get caught out here. So it says fire and hail and famine and death. All these were created for vengeance, right? And there's angels that are control of these things too. You have an angel that's in control of famine. You have an angel that's in control of fire. It says in Revelations, forgot what chapter it is, but it says that the angel had power over the sun. You can go find it and see. But these angels all have commandments, and they have different commandments, different things that they have to play out on earth. They have to make sure play out on earth. So when it says it's going to be a time like never before seen, it's going to be a lot of different angels, sent on the earth to perform these acts. Just like every generation, we were like, my generation wouldn't like this, because more and more angels are being put on the earth to perform these wicked acts on the left-hand side, starting with Hashatan, because that's what they was created for. It says teeth of wild beast, right? Like the article I was quoting earlier, the old man got slaughtered by 2 dogs. He got killed by 2 dogs, man. When is the last time you heard of dogs killing people? Right? But it says teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword, right? The modern day sword is the gun, punishing the wicked to destruction. That's why you have a lot of mass killings nowadays. That's why you have a lot of hate crimes, right? The woman walking up to the man and shooting, blowing his brains out. The man walking up to the woman and blowing her brains out, right? The sister blew out her sister's brains, right? The murder that happened at in Mexico. I forgot where they was, but they broke that girl's neck, man, and tried to make it seem like she died from alcohol poisoning, right? But it says they shall rejoice in his commandment, right? They're going to rejoice in whatever the Lord sent them out to do, just like we're reading in Ezekiel chapter 9. It says, and they shall be ready upon earth when need is, and when their time is come, they shall not transgress his word. You understand that? And that's what we waiting on. And that's why we hope we have the mark of exemption, us and our wives and our children and our spouse and our children. Right? So going back to Ezekiel chapter 9, I know I can get long-winded. I ain't not be talking too fast. So Ezekiel chapter 9, and we at 5. It says, and to the others he said in mine hearing, go ye after him through the city and smite. Let not your eye spare, neither have ye pity. So he told the angel with that was clothed in linen. He says, take your writer's inkhorn and go and spiritually mark. Means open the minds of, bring them into the knowledge of the truth, right? In these last days, that's what the mark on their forehead is. Bring them into the truth, allow them to perform my works, have faith in my son, so that they can be exempt from judgment. But then he told the 6 angels that we read in verse 1 and 2, he says, follow him, right? Everybody that he marks, he said, follow him and slaughter everyone else, right? And that's what we about to see pretty soon. Lord willing, you are a part of Psalms 91. Lord willing, we all are. It says, and to the others, he said, the other six angels that had the destroying weapons in their hand in verse 1. He says, slay utterly old and young. Slay utterly. It says to slay utterly old and young people, both maids and little children. Little children are not going to get spared in the times that we are living in, right? Because remember, the place under the sun is the place of judgment, right? Nobody's innocent. That's what it tells you in Job. Let's get this in Job. God. So Job chapter 4 and verse 7, this is what he said. Remember, I pray thee, whoever perished being innocent, or where were the righteous cut off? So when anybody died from old woman to a little baby, it says right here, who's ever perished being innocent? No one, because we've all been here, right? If a little boy died at 4 years old, it's because that was his judgment, because under the sun is a place of judgment, right? And that is to please the wrath of the Most High God. Just like it said, it pleased Yahweh to bruise Yahushua, right? To whatever happened to Yahushua, what we read, right? It said it pleased the Most High God. So if the Lord want to see you die at 4 years old and you come back to him, and then you go back and he allow you to live a life and, see what's up with you, then that's what he do, man. And ain't nobody going to question that, because he going to do it regardless, right? Like Job 23, it says, Job said, I look to my right, I look to my left, I look north, I look south, and I cannot behold where he is, but I know he's right there. Most High is watching all of us via angels. So, Khan, let's go back to this verse 6, Ezekiel 9:6. Slay, it says, slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children, and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark. Right? That angel that's clothed in linen with the writer's inkhorn, he's going through the city and he's marking these men, right? That's sighing and crying for all the abominations that be done in the city, right? Wherever they are, wherever they live, whether you in America, Africa, Europe, Asia, any of those continents, there's men that's crying and sighing and crying for the abominations that be done, right? All of these places. And there's an angel, right? Which, these spirits, like I said, that's symbolic for the 1/3, because there's prophets on each one of those continents preaching the true gospel, right? And like I said, that's symbolic, right? That's the writer's inkhorn, his word, his scriptures. So it says, slay utterly old and young, both maid and little children and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary, which is the temple. Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house. Why? Because the ancient men are the leaders of the community. So that's who we're going to start seeing die first. Right? He says start with the ancient men, right? The ones that know better, the ones that failed the youth. Like I said, that's what we're about to see, right? The elderly die first. I'm talking about in masses. It says, and he said unto them, defile the house, the temple. Defile it, kill everybody in there that does not have a mark, man. And fill the courts with the slain at the outer court of the temple. He said, kill them too. Go ye forth, and they went forth and slew in the city. And it came to pass while they were slaying them, right? It says, so lock in. God, it says, I'm going to read 7 again. And he said unto them, defile the house and fill the courts with the slain. Go ye forth. And they went forth and slew in the city. Right. And this is like, bro, it's when you read this, this is what the Lord is telling them to do. Right. And this is where they say God is all love, but it's like, dang, when you actually go and read the scriptures, it does not say that, man. We serve a mean God. He's mean. And he's also merciful, though. It says, so is just as his majesty is, so is his mercy, right? And that majesty goes into how mean he can be. Like, I ain't playing no games. I am the majesty. All right, so this is Psalms 66:1. Make a joyful noise unto God. Well, I'll just pull it up. So it says, make a joyful noise unto God, all ye lands. Sing forth the honor of his name. Make his praise glorious. And that's what everybody better be doing. Why? Because say unto God, how terrible art thou in thy works. Through the greatness of thy power shall thine enemies submit themselves unto thee. Right? Hey, and let's get an example of that. Let's get a prophecy that's going to happen in the last days. Why they should be doing this. Let's get a prophecy, because it said about the heathen. He told the heathen, he says, say unto God, how terrible art thou in thy works. Through the greatness of thy power shall thine enemies submit themselves unto thee. Right? Let's get an example. So this is 2nd Ezra, and I was just reading this earlier. 2nd Ezra chapter 16 and it was 40. Matter of fact, it's 15, not 16. So this is kind of 2nd Ezra is 15 and 454. Set forth the beauty of thy countenance That's a question mark. The reward of thy whoredom shall be in thy bosom. Your bosom is your chest. Therefore, that means you're going to take it on the chest. You know, it says, you know what that's symbolic for. Take it on the chest. You're going to take this as a man. You're going to eat this. Right? You're going to do this. It says, therefore shalt thou receive recompense, which is payback. Like as thou hast done unto my chosen, said the Lord, even so shall God do unto thee, and shall deliver thee into mischief. It's talking about the heathens. It says, thy children shall die of hunger. This is an angel that's over this. Like I said, there's an angel over famine, right? And that's Revelation chapter 6. It says, and thou shalt fall through the sword. There's an angel over the sword. Thy city shall be broken down, which is destruction, and all thine shall perish with the sword in the field. They that be in the mountains shall die of hunger and eat their own flesh and drink their own blood for very hunger of bread and thirst of water. That's the prophecy that's going to come to pass very soon. That's why it tells you right here, Psalm 66:3, say unto God, how terrible art thou in thy works, through the greatness of thy power shall thy enemies submit themselves unto thee. They're going to know that he is the true and living God. Why? Because we're telling them through the Spirit of the Most High that this prophecy is going to happen. This is pretty soon. You're going to eat your own flesh, and you're going to drink your own blood, and you're going to eat and drink your own children's blood, right? Because you're going to be very hungry. Now, when that comes to the pass, that's when you're going to know. You're going to be like, damn, they said that would happen through the power of their God. What did they say his name was? Yahweh? That's when they going to know it's true. It's all true that we've been saying. Right? All praises to the Most High. So going back to Psalm 66:4, it says, all the earth shall worship thee and shall sing unto thee. They shall sing to thy name, Salah. Come and see the works of God. He is terrible in his doing toward the children of men. Understand that. The Most High is not playing no games, man. What we about to see, it's going to scare the... Bro, I'm a man. I can say I'm a stern man. Like, I'm a man that just... I don't really cry that much. But I'm afraid of that day. And I'm not afraid of that day as in trembling because I know I'm doing wrong. But, you know, just like how no man wants to die, right? And it's possible, that each and every last one of us can go, whether it's for righteousness' sake or it's for sin, all right? So nobody wants to die. So, you will have that sense of fear for that day. And that's how the Lord wants it. He wants you to fear because that'll keep you on track. If you do die, you better die for righteousness' sake. You better go out with some dignity, right? But you do not want to die on the left-hand side. You do not want to die for wickedness' sake, because it's going to be a cruel and unusual punishment. So it says, this is going back to Ezekiel chapter 9 and verse 7. And he said unto them, defile the house and fill the corpse with the slain. Go ye forth. And they went forth and slew in the city. So they start killing, just like they're about to pretty soon again, these angels. They're going to put their spirits on. They're going to put their spirits, their energy on people, and they're going to perform heinous crimes, heinous acts, right? And we can get one of those. 2 Ezra chapter 15 and 2 Ezra chapter 15 and 14. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Now, everybody will be afraid in this situation, both parties, whether it's Edomites versus Israelites, whatever. All nations, when they go to war, they are afraid of losing. Because once you lose, that means your household is going to get, your wives are going to get raped. The children are going to get taken into captivity. That's what our people always feared. That's why they always fought for their lives. That's why you have that term, fight for your life. Because you're fighting for your life, and not only yours, you're fighting for your families, right? But the Lord is saying that your sword and your destruction is drawing nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another. They're going to slaughter each other. They're all going to die. It says, and swords in their hands. The modern day sword is the gun. This is a last day prophecy. For there shall be sedition among men. Sedition is rebellion, not listening to the government officials. Specifically, it's in invading one another. Right? You have so many neighbors. You might be doing good for yourself, and you have all these neighbors that's been watching you the whole time, and you don't know they've been watching you for times like this. Everybody can see where we're going. They don't want to admit it, but everybody sees where we're going. This place is plummeted to shit. Even Americans are saying it. We talking about Edomite Americans. We talking about elites. Elites are leaving this country, right? You got millionaires leaving this country, man. Everybody knows it. They're writing it in the articles that America is done. When they talk about a recession, they're telling you America's finished, man. This is the same way Rome went down. And Rome did not, well, it revived itself, but that Roman Empire, that ancient Roman Empire, it fell. And it did not get healed. But it got healed through another system, though, right? The same ideas and philosophies and doctrines. But it says, in invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, which is your government officials, the Senate, right? The Congress. It says, in the course of their actions shall stand in their power. This is one of the points that I was trying to touch on. The course of their actions shall stand in their power, but it's actually angels that's on them, causing them to do this. That's why they say, man, you had to have a demonic spirit on you to do something like that. That's where you have that term from. You had to have demons on you to do something like that. Who would do something like that? Well, it was a demon. It was an angel that caused him to do it. That's why they come to their senses when they get locked up, because the angel have left them. Right? It's just like when somebody, and Captain Yermiah, he used to always say this. He went into a story, and it was going into how demons deal with people, and he was breaking it down to us, and he said that's why when you see people committing suicide, like they'll jump off a cliff, they'll go to the top of the cliff and they'll be hanging on the edge of the cliff, and they'll jump, and when they jump, the first thing they do, they start screaming. The reason why they start screaming is because that demon has left them, and they came to their senses. They know what they're doing now, and they did not want to make that decision. That's why they scream. So let's continue. It says, in the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. So how much more women and children? It says, for because of their pride, this is why the Lord is going to punish them. This is what we read in Ezekiel chapter 9 also. Because of their pride, man. It says the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. When you go to the word pity, no remorse, man. He's not going to care about you, your wife, that you have children that you got to feed. He's not going to care about none of that, man. It says pity, the feeling of sorrow and compassion caused by the suffering and misfortune of others. You understand that? The suffering that he's going to watch you go through and the misfortunes, he's not going to care at all. He's not going to have compassion. He's not going to have condolences, right? He's not going to have regret on what he did to you, your wife, and your child either. You know, some of them going to have to eat the other one. You're going to have to. There's stories in the Bible, right? In 2 Kings where two women, it was a famine in the city, two women, they had to eat one's child and they were supposed to eat the other's child. And they boiled them. So you must be crazy if you don't think that that's going to happen again in the times we're in, but on a more magnified level. And they're not going to show no pity, man. They're going to be roasting the hell out of your kids, right? Child trafficking is going to be horrible in that day. All right, it says distress, sympathy, understanding, right? Emotion. Ooh. So shame, it says shame too. So when we go back to this, it says a man shall have no pity, right, upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their house with the sword. The modern day sword is the gun, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. And the angels are going to make sure that these things play out. They're going to make sure that these things play out, just like they're making sure that they play out. It said in Ezekiel chapter 9, when we go back to Ezekiel chapter 9, it said right here, and he cried also in mine ears with a loud voice, saying, cause them that have charge over the city to draw near, even every man with his destroying weapon in his hand. So the point is, they had charge over the city. They was making sure everything went on that was happening on the left-hand side and on the right-hand side. They was making sure everything happened that was happening so the Lord can justify and destroying them. That's how this works, man. This is the Lord's movie. He do whatever he wants. So when we go back to Ezekiel 9 and 8, it says, and it came to pass while they were slain them, and I was left, that I fell upon my face and cried and said, ah, Lord God, wilt thou destroy all the residue of Israel in thy pouring out of thy fury upon Jerusalem? We are people before a place. It says, then said he unto me, the iniquity of the house of Israel and Judah is exceedingly great. Right? The northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. It is exceedingly great. And when we look at today in 2023, it is exceedingly great, man. Christianity, bro, that is probably the worst thing on this earth, man. The Great Inquisition is the worst thing on this earth, Christianity. It has completely destroyed our people. Our people don't even know who they are no more. In every captivity we was in, we always knew who we was. This is the captivity where we don't even know who we are. Imagine that. It says, and the land is full of blood, right? Wickedness. It says, in the city full of perverseness. Right? It says, for they say the Lord have forsaken the earth and the Lord seeth not. Right? And that's why people do not believe that Yahushua is going to return. That's why he told you in Luke chapter 18, I believe it's 18. Let me see. Luke chapter 18. Yep. Luke chapter 18 and verse 8. It says, I tell you that, this is red letters written in blood. I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, when he return, his second coming, shall he find faith on the earth? And he's going to find faith from the 1/3, but from the rest of the Israelites, he's not going to find faith. Therefore, he's going to destroy them. Right? And tells you that in Sirach chapter 2. It says, when they get faint-hearted, which means they lose faith, he says, therefore shall they not be defended. Defended from what? From the destruction that's going on, right? All the way up into the thermonuclear destruction. Right? So he says, when he returns, shall he find faith on the earth, right? I was not supposed to do that with Ezekiel. Right, so I'm going to read this one more time. So it says, the last part, it says, the Lord hath forsaken the earth and the Lord seeth us not. I have precepts for that. I have precepts for that. Matter of fact, I'm going to get it in the GNT because that's what I had seen it in the GNT. I was like, oh, that looks very edifying. Okay, so Sirach chapter 5 in the GNT. All right, Sirach chapter 5 in the GNT, it says, don't rely on money to make you independent. Don't think you have to have everything you want and then spend your energy trying to get it. The masses of the people, this goes into serving another God, right? You serving your own belly. You serving yourself as a God by getting everything you want and spending all your energy getting it. The majority of your energy should go to the Most High God, man. It says, don't think that no one can exercise authority over you. If you do, the Lord is certain to punish you. Don't think that you can sin. This is the point. Don't think that you can sin and get away with it. The Lord does not mind waiting to punish you. And that's what he's doing. That's why when we look at the wicked, we be like, damn, nothing is happening to them. This man, it's certain people you be like, damn, she been a hoe her whole life, and it seemed like everything is going her way. or this nigga been, he a bully, he extortioner, he a gangbanger, and everything's been going his way. He been making money his whole life. He been living the way he want to his whole life, this image, right? But it says right here, don't think that you can sin and get away with it. The Lord does not mind waiting to punish you. And when you go into 1 Kings, 2 Kings, 2 Kings, that's what it is. 1 Kings and 2 Kings, the Lord punished certain men's children. He didn't punish them. He says, since you humbled yourself, I'm not going to punish you in your time. I'm going to punish your children. So if you love your children, you'll do what's right, man. So the Lord won't wait and punish them. So it says, don't be certain of the Lord's forgiveness that you go on committing one sin after another. Don't think that his mercy is so great that he will forgive your sins no matter how many they are, right? And a lot of people do think that. They think under the blood of Yahweh Shah, no matter what they do, how many times they do it, they are covered. That is Christianity right there. But it says he does show mercy, but he also shows his furious anger with sinners, right? And that's a prophecy on that too in Sirach chapter 16. It says he's not going to spare the sinners at all. He's neither going to have pity upon the sinners, right? He's going to command these angels to do their thing, man, and that's what they're going to do. So I got one more on this. So this is Sirach chapter 16 and 17. It says, his mercy is manifest to every creature, and he hath separated his light from the darkness with an adamant. Say not thou, I will hide myself from the Lord. Shall any remember me from above? Right? This is what the people mistake, that there's an angel watching them everywhere you go. You go in the bathroom, that angel is going in the bathroom with you. He's not going to have his hand over his eyes, not watching you. He's going to watch your every move. When you cut off them lights, that angel has X-ray vision and he can see you clearly. When you wake 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning to go sleep with another man's wife, right? Or a woman that's creeping on her husband, the angels see they see all of that, and they're going to deal with you accordingly. It says, I shall not be remembered among so many people. And I ain't gonna lie, I used to think this. Bro, it's too many people for the Lord to be watching us all. There's too many people on earth. I know he's not worried. He ain't worried about me. I ain't shit. Why would he worry about me? But he's watching every single last one of us. It says, I shall not be remembered among so many people. For what is my soul among such an infinite number of creatures? You are not supposed to have this mentality. It says, say not thou. You're not supposed to have this mentality. But guess what? When we read Ezekiel chapter 9 and 9 again, then said he unto me, the iniquity of the house of Israel and Judah is exceeding great, and the land is full of blood, and the city full of perverseness. For they say, the Lord hath forsaken the earth, and the Lord seeth not. This is the mentality they have. This is the mentality our people have now. They think that everything that they're doing is covered up in love. God loves them still. That's the Lord seeing them not, right? He looking on their heart, right? He know my heart. He know I'm messed up, man. But he know my heart. He know I'm a good person. That's you saying that the Lord don't see what you're doing. He don't see your real intentions. You know this shit is wrong. You know it's wrong. But guess what? You do it anyway. And you think the Lord don't see your true intentions. That's why it says the Lord seeth not. He don't see our true intentions. We down here lost without guidance. When the Bible is your only guidance, that's the only guidance you need, man. And if there is no guidance, it can all start with you, right? You get in this Bible and building a kingdom up. It says, and as for me also, it says, and as for me also, mine eye shall not spare, neither will I have pity, but I will recompense their way upon their head. That means you're going to die from the things that you think you're going to play God with, the things that you serve. Like how some brothers, they worship shoes. Guess what? He wasted his life over a pair of shoes because he didn't want to get those shoes up when he was getting robbed. Or somebody stepped on those shoes and he blew somebody's brains out. Now he got to spend the rest of his life in jail because he worshiped those shoes. right? And you can just keep on going, right? Men that sleep with men, AIDS, they're going to die from AIDS. It just keeps on going, right? Women, right? That's all they do is worship their ass. That's all they do. Women don't even take front pictures no more. They turned around with their head. They wish they was Emily Rose. They wish they can turn their head all the way around, but their ass is showing, right? They're going to be given over to that. A lot of women are getting cancer from getting ass shots, man, from getting that silicone in their ass, man. They're getting cancer and they not even caring. They not even caring right now, at least. All that shit fades away, man. But it says, the Lord says, I will recompense their way upon their head. And behold, the man clothed with linen, which had the inkhorn by his side, reported the matter, saying, I have done as thou hast commanded me. And that's what we're supposed to do. Yahweh Shah started the ministry. We're supposed to finish it. We're supposed to do as he commanded us. That's what we're supposed to do, man. So let me finish. I'll close out on this. So this is 2 Peter chapter 2 and verse 9. The Lord knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptations and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished. So Lord willing, you was edified, man. Shalom.